Harry's wife. She was fired. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Geo News, with the enigmatically named web desk, tells us Harry's wife was fired for getting too close to Deal or No Deal host. Well, before we examine this, and you can make your own minds up as to whether you believe that this is accurate and that the evidence referred to can be relied upon, might it be the case that a narcissist could find themselves in such a situation? Absolutely, yes. The narcissist does not recognize boundaries. Many people mistakenly talk about the fact that they need to get better at enforcing boundaries with the narcissist. That is pointless and futile. The reason being, we don't recognize them. We trample all over them. So, for instance, if you think that you're going to be able to manage a narcissist by turning around and saying, "No, I don't want to do that," to a narcissist, you ought to think again. All you're doing is giving challenge fuel to that narcissist, risking the ignition of fury and the malign consequences that come with it. You're also continuing to expose yourself to the narcissist's behavior, increasing your own emotional thinking, suffering the likelihood of that ignition of fury, suffering an adverse consequence by way of the manner in which the narcissist then treats you. And thus it is wholly ineffective. The narcissist is not going to go, "Oh, you've said no to me. Okay, I'll completely accept that and abide by your decision." The narcissist will push, pleading with you, threatening you, perhaps using violence against you, seeking to persuade you, perhaps charming you in order to get you to say yes. All of this means that you get ground down, that there is this attrition that's applied in order to get you to comply. Ultimately, of course, to get you to come under control. Accordingly, you ought not to seek to assert boundaries with the narcissist. Instead, you must remove yourself. That is the boundary that you create, that you have nothing more to do with the narcissist, to the imposition of a total no-contact regime, as I have set out in my various works. But the narcissist would look to trample over those boundaries by getting close to people. By getting close to you, that enables the narcissist to control you more readily, to draw you into the narcissist world, to draw that all-important fuel from you. And that's why many narcissists are inappropriate when it comes to those hierarchies and artificial boundaries that exist with regard to, for instance, the world of work. That a narcissist is to pally with the boss, treating them like a friend, and vice versa. Where the narcissist is the boss, they often behave in a manner towards people that they are in charge of, acting as if they can command them to do anything, but sometimes acting like they're also really good friends with them, acting like they're chums, rather than being the boss. That the professional boundary, for instance, between therapist and patient is completely obscured in both directions. The narcissist as a patient will invariably believe that the therapist sees them as the special one, that they believe that the therapist is in love with them, that they try to have a sexual relationship with the therapist. Where the therapist is the narcissist, they fail to maintain their professional distance from the patient, talking to them about inappropriate matters, suggesting inappropriate matters, possibly taking the relationship into a sexual arena, contacting the patient outside of the normal parameters of a therapist-patient relationship. There are lots of different ways that a narcissist will get too close to people, and it's simply because that narcissist must control and draw fuel, and therefore the narcissism utilizes the sense of entitlement and lack of boundary recognition that a narcissist has. Therefore, with Harry's wife as a narcissist, it would not be a surprise to learn that she would get too close. You've witnessed the way that when she engages with people, she's over-familiar with them, hugging and touching. The way that she talks to people, she acts as if she's known them all her life. Now, some find that endearing, but many other people notice that it's inappropriate, that it's too much, that she behaves as if she's much closer to the individuals that she's dealing with than she actually is. The article explains that Harry's wife did not resign from her briefcase gig at Deal or No Deal, according to Twitter. Well, that's not certainly something that one would necessarily put in a place as evidence in a court of law, but as always, I leave it up to you to make your mind up about that. The Duchess of Sussex, who has complained about feeling like a bimbo on the game show, revealed she quit the job because it made her feel not smart. And of course, I've analysed that in considerable detail in parts passim, demonstrating the hypocrisy of such a position, which is no surprise when it comes, of course, to Harry's wife. Meanwhile, as per a Twitter account, the Duchess was fired for being involved with the host, Howie Mandel. Now, this is something that I've read about on a number of occasions. Harry's wife did not quit Deal or No Deal. She was fired. According to sources, Harry's wife was getting a little too close to the host of the show, Howie Mandel, which led his wife to insist that she was fired. Another example of Harry's wife's beautiful personality, the account wrote. It came from the account The Centreview. And the veracity of the tweet has not been established. Internet users were quick to share their 2 cents about the rumour. Then Howie Mandel lied a while ago when he said he did not remember Harry's wife being on the show. Sounds like Harry's wife and Howie are 2 peas in a pod. 2 survivors who think about themselves only, wrote one. Another added, how embarrassing. I've seen this story doing the rounds, but seriously, how true is it? A third wrote. We don't know anything for sure, so for now it's just more empty gossip in my opinion, wrote one. Well, it keeps popping up. It's something that's been repeatedly stated, and GOTV has repeated it. And having seen that, it's given me an opportunity to look at, is this something that a narcissist might do? It's certainly the case that a narcissist would have designs upon the host of a show. So, for instance, in this case, Harry's wife, she's one of many briefcase girls. If I remember correctly, she wasn't even sort of a main one. And in such circumstances, she, as a narcissist, believes that she ought to be the star of the show, not to the extent necessarily of becoming the presenter, but rather being the favoured briefcase girl of the presenter. That her narcissism, in order to assert control over the presenter, nullify the threat to control posed by perhaps prettier and more beautiful briefcase girls, and for the purposes of ensuring that control is asserted over the audience, it causes her to be flirtatious. She probably doesn't even recognise that she's doing it. Many unaware narcissists are very flirtatious with the people that they meet, making eyes at them, giving coquettish looks, fluttering their eyelashes, being overly tactile. All of this is being done as a means of assertion of control. And invariably, the unaware narcissist doesn't realise what they're doing. If they're called out about it, stop flirting. Of course, that's a threat to control. And they'll immediately deny it. I wasn't flirting. What are you talking about? Of course, in the circumstances, it is entirely conceivable that Harry's wife would be flirtatious with the host of the show, wanting to curry favour with him, to be preferred, to be the special one. And therefore, if she was behaving that way, Howie Mandel's wife may well not have been impressed by this. Mr. Mandel might have been responding to it also. He might have encouraged it, who knows? The point is this. It is conceivable that a narcissist would, through lack of boundary recognition, try to get close to the host of a show, and that would invariably upset certain people, and it could have led to her being removed from the show as a consequence of that conduct or behaviour. Whether that's true or not, you make your own minds up. What I can tell you is that it's certainly possible that a narcissist would behave that way. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.